Well, hello. What's up? What's happening? What's happening? Peace in. Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to another edition of Undercutting Room Floor. I am your host, Tony Ray Harvey. Once again and again and again, we are posting and broadcasting, whatever you want to call it, from the Green Heaven Pocket area in Black Magic Inc. Studios. So, good evening to everyone. So, hey, let's get right down into it. All right, let me start off with this here, and then we'll get right up into it, while we're here. The collective sense of urgency in the first quarter just wasn't there. If you look at the rest of the game, it was pretty much a wash, but you just can't let a team that can put points on the board and has the ability to get others involved score 39 points in the first quarter. We're not at that level where you can work your way into the game. That comment came from Doug Christie, the head coach of the Sacramento Kings, after the Sacramento Kings fell to the Denver Nuggets 130-124 in the Mile High City. That was the last of their 4-game road trip, which they ended up with a 1-3 record. 1-3 record. So that's how they wrapped it up after I wouldn't say a miraculous win, but a very impressive, and I don't like to use the word very, an impressive victory over the Milwaukee Bucks just a couple days ago. But yes, they had problems in that first quarter again. And I kind of see and understand why that's happening. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, let me give you just a little bit of a recap. Nikola Jokić, the Joker, had 34 points, 14 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 block shots to lead the Denver Nuggets 130-124 over the Sacramento Kings at Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Christian Braun, he had 21 points. Aaron Gordon's 20. Jamal Murray's 15. Bruce Brown 13. And Cameron Johnson's 10 points gave the Nuggets six players with 10 or more points. Murray also had 7 of Denver's 33 assists. Yes. Russell Westbrook, who did start the game, had a season-high 26 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals for the Kings, who fall to 2-6 on the season. And they returned home with a 1-3 record on the road. DeMar DeRozan had 19 points and 3 rebounds, while Dennis Schroeder had 18 points and 9 assists for the Kings. Now, that first quarter, because the reason why I say that, and I know plenty of y'all out there seeing this game, they were in the game for the remaining 3 quarters. It's just that those starts are giving them issues. And I do want to talk about that a little bit more. Now, the Nuggets opened up with a 10-1 lead before increasing it by a margin of 12 points on a 3-point play by Tim Hardaway Jr. Denver led 39-30 at the end of the first quarter. Jokić made 2 of the Nuggets' 6 3-pointers. He also had 15 points in that quarter. Yes, they were 6 for 12, if I'm not mistaken, from 3-point land anyway in that first quarter. And Joker just was running wild. Aaron Gordon had a few buckets up in there as well. The Kings haven't really been out of any of these 8 games, if you look at it. Okay, of course there has been some slip-ups. And what I mean by slip-up is where they may have a lead, a substantial lead, and they lose that, they don't get the clutch plays, towards the end. It's just been those type of things. Or they let the teams go on, these type of runs. They're not defending well. At times when they are defending well, they're not defending well, throughout the whole game. And then when it comes to those starts, and it's just my opinion, it's just my perspective on things. Russell Westbrook started tonight. I don't know if that was about personnel or just rewarding him for the work that he's been doing. So that's the 3rd game he done started this season already out of 8 games, which is cool. But we're seeing that like every game, or every other game. A different starting lineup. Now you have basic the four. We know that. You're gonna have Schroeder, you're gonna have Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. All right. Sabonis, he's only missed one game, the first game that was against Phoenix, and then he came back and he's been playing ever since. But that one person that they need, and I know you got these small lineups. Dylan Cardwell, he started the last game. It's kind of throwing them off rhythm because they can't deliver that full punch in that first quarter because of these starting five changes. Now, like I said, we got the four solids. That's how it's going to be until Keegan Murray return back to action after he heals from his thumb surgery. But yes, I mean, they started off 9-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks, but they came back and won. All right. They were down by, I think, about the most 12, 13 points in this game, and they lost by 6. That's just how it's been. They've been in every game. But it's that start. It's that start that's happening. And like I said, it's just my perspective, all right? Because, they playing small ball as well, but you haven't found that right ingredient for that fifth person right now until Keegan gets back. And you probably need to figure that out to stay with it. But I know it's about what the opposing teams are doing and what type of personnel that they have on the floor. And as we know, Denver, I felt that they could have beat Denver. And I know they felt that they could have beat Denver. They got Cam Johnson, Christian Braun, really excellent player for him. Jamal Murray, solid. Jokić, he's solid. Aaron Gordon, the enforcer, he's shooting threes, and he's making them too. They've been together for a while, so they know what's going on, except for the addition of Cam Johnson. He had 10 points tonight. Definitely going to be that defensive stopper for them. They got some talent there. But for the most part, they've been playing together, for a while. And I'm pretty sure that's been their lineup since day one, start of this season. So that's pretty much what Kings going to have to play small ball until, they do some things. Yes, a report came out today, and I really first heard it on Alan Styles' show, featuring Kyle Ledbetter. That's my guy right there. I heard it on their radio show today when I was here at home doing some reports about Pressure Achua might be signed, as a free agent, meaning they're going to have to cut somebody loose. I know some rumblings came, about, what's happening on the Kings roster right now. It wouldn't be a bad idea. It certainly wouldn't be. I mean, you need some bodies. You need some bodies. He's probably somebody, if he's in shape, you can plug him in right away. If you want to bring him off the bench, cool. But the small ball is going to continue. And if that fifth element is not right in that starting five, these things could continue. I don't think there's probably like 1 out of 8 games that they hit first. The Sacramento Kings had hit first. And they always talk about that. It's always been like that. It was the situation when Mike Braun was the coach. All right? It was the situation when Alvin Gentry was the interim coach. It was the situation with Luke Walton. Those starts. You figure that out. And these close games, they shouldn't even be close games. They should not even be close games. The Kings never led in this game. Not once. From start to finish. So, yeah. As I said, they opened up with a 10-1 lead, the Nuggets, before, bumping it up to 12 points on a 3-point play by Tim Hardaway Jr., and then they led 39-30 at the end of the first quarter. Yeah, and Jokić had 15 points in that first quarter. Now, the Kings cut the margin 54-52 on a 3-point play by LaVine at the 4:28 mark in the second quarter. The Nuggets rolled out to a 10-0 run after that, completed by 2 free throws by Gordon to make the score 64-54. Nuggets led 72-63 at the half. that's another thing too. I mean, these teams are getting deep in those 60s or those early 70s before the half, or right at the half, because those slow starts, and you got these different elements going on. With that starting five. Sabonis is solid because he's been playing ever since then. But it was only like I think the first game only had three of the starters who started every game this season, and that would be Levine, Schroeder, and DeMar DeRozan. And Sabonis been right there, but I guess one game we had Isaac Jones. Of course, Nick Clifford, he started the first game of the season, but then he got hurt, so he was out about a week and a half. But he's back. He's looking good, too. He's ramping it back up. All right. Keon Ellis. So Keon had a great night tonight. He made about 4 or 5 threes. I'm going to have to look back at the stats and stuff like that. But he was hitting some key threes. That was basically keeping them right there, to tell you the truth. Some of the things he do, but, on starter minutes. He had a lot of starter minutes, so he wasn't out there as long as he probably should have been. But, yeah, it's just been, plug in, plug out. And I understand what Doug is trying to do. No problem right there. I'm not really criticizing it. I'm just observing. I'm just analyzing what I see from my perspective because, yes, these starts, and they did say it on the telecast, NBC Sports announcers, they were talking about that, it's these starts. But then you can pretty much maintain for the rest of the game. You're in it. You're in it to win it, but I'm also seeing some, a little bit of slowdown. These starters been playing some heavy minutes. I think all 5 starters at least played 35 minutes or more, at least. Okay, well, the Nuggets, they moved up to a 14-point lead when Bruce Brown hit a three-pointer that made the score 99-85 with 1 minute and 57 seconds left in the third frame. Denver led 104-93 after 3 quarters. Dennis Schroeder basket early in the fourth quarter trimmed the Nuggets lead to 110-104 at the 9:15 mark, but Denver was able to bump that lead back up to 130-117 on a basket by Jokić, and that was before the Kings made their final run. The Nuggets didn't really score any, so Kings finished with a 7-0 run. What you want to call it that, but anyway, they lost the game. All right. Yeah. So like Zach LaVine and Keon Ellis, they had 15 points each. Drew Eubanks for the second straight game had 10 points. Okay, he's showing that he's serviceable. Yeah. Nick Clifford basically went home today. He had his moments, of course. I think they said on the telecast, if I'm not mistaken, that he had a couple hundred people there to see him good, and that's good too, And he should be getting some more time out on the play too, because this young man he's definitely a playmaker, so he definitely should be getting some more time out there on the court. So Keon Ellis was 5 of 8 shooting from the field. He made 5 of 8 3-pointers for those 15 points. So all the points that he scored was beyond the arc in 3-point territory. 15 points. Yes, Drew Eubanks was 4 for 4 from the floor. All right. Devin Carter, he played 3 minutes, but he definitely was not effective. Neek played 18 minutes. He was 4 for 9 from the flow. He didn't make either one. He only had 2 shots from beyond the arc. He didn't make it. And he had, 3 assists and 1 block shot. He does play defense. He just never stops. Just put it like that. Now, Zach LaVine played 36 minutes and 52 seconds. DeMar DeRozan played 35 minutes and 36 seconds. Domantas Sabonis played 36 minutes and 52 seconds. I've been crazy on that. And before I go any further, the Bucks scored 47 points in the first quarter of that last game that the Kings won. I kept saying 41 in the last telecast. Want to get that straight? That's what we do here. We take accountability. Russell Westbrook in this game against his former team that he played with last season, 37 minutes and 28 seconds. Dennis Schroeder, 34 minutes and 55 seconds. So basically, every starter played 35 minutes or more. You know that ain't going to get it for the rest of the season. That is not going to last. It cannot go on that way. But there's a trust factor there. I understand. I do understand. But when it gets to this point right now, you might as well just run with what you have and develop what you have. You know, it's tough. That this roster is really creating some hardships with this team. The coaching is there. I truly believe that. Okay, the players that they have are there too, but you have too many in one spot. And you're small. So you're doing the best that you can right now, but playing these starters like that is not going to be, it's not going to solve a whole lot either. You got to Golden State Warriors coming in here Wednesday. And you coming off the road. All right? There is a radio personality here. I'm not going to mention his name. I do listen to the show, and I learned this from him. You definitely say it. Kings also have issues when they come off the road that they don't play well in their first home game back off the road. Whether it's a 2-game road trip, 4-game road trip, a 6-game road trip, 7-game road trip, that first game back home, and they're coming in from the mountain time zone. They just came out the central time zone. They're back to the Pacific Standard Time. Well, we'll see. I think hopefully they'll get the day off here, tomorrow, and then they'll pick it back up on Wednesday. But yeah, I don't know if Steve Kerr running his, and they're deep. Boy, they got people coming up off the bench too. They're okay, but we'll see. Yeah, these reports came in. More than likely, when we hear something like that, especially from the national writers, the credible ones at that too, because the only ones here, they can only, call around to authenticate these reports, because it shows that those type of reports don't come out of Sacramento for whatever reason. National writers, national journalists, they'll come across that information. But when it normally does come around like that, okay, it's likely going to happen. Precious, he played with New York last year, and they made a couple roster movements too. They even got Jordan Clarkson on the team, so I felt like they would probably bumped him out. He's been in the league about 5-6 years. He definitely got a lot of experience. I know they were looking at him at one point when he was in Toronto a couple of years ago. His name kept coming up in a trade discussion involving the Sacramento Kings. They need some frontline help. We've been knowing that. We've been knowing that for a couple of years anyway. All right. But if you can get some more bodies in here, some more bodies that experience, all right, just to have a body and help win some games, I'm sure that's what general manager Scott Perry is going to do. Yeah. So once again, the Sacramento Kings, they fall to the Denver Nuggets, 130-124 in Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. And they are 2-6 on the season, and they will return home here to play the Golden State Warriors. I think after that, see, they got the Golden State Warriors. I know they have to look at the schedule as well. I know they played the Minnesota Timberwolves on this Sunday. Got a Sunday match with them. So, as you know, I don't do these podcasts when the Kings are at home, doing too much, way too much. And I'm not just talking about sports, but I will be back, when they get back on the road. Who knows if something pops up, I always, I'll throw something out there real quick. But I do want to thank you guys for, tuning in. I don't care if it's 60, 70, 80, that come in there. Of course, I would like to see it over 100, 200. But you take what you can, and you bless the ones who does, tune in to hear these commentaries. And I've, been getting a couple comments and stuff like that. I appreciate that. If there's something that you see or you hear, just let me know. Just professionally, let me know. Personally, let me know. And what I mean by personally, I mean, if people start getting on there talking crazy, I'm gonna have to scoot you up out there. But that hasn't been a problem. I'm just saying. I treat people with respect, and I expect that back. So, and that's pretty much that's been happening. I know somebody commented that I guess they moved away, but they planning on moving back to the Greenhaven pocket area. I live around this area, to tell you the truth. I'm not that far from, the Sacramento River, Garcia Bend Park, which I was doing a lot of walking up there. I'm going to have to get my regiment back together and start doing it there. I've been doing it close to home as much as possible. There's a lot of trees around here, a lot of trees around here. Well, got to get into some fishing too. I know it's getting kind of cold and stuff like that, but that's going on too. I got to get a fishing license, but living around this area is great. But thanks for tuning in for another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor, broadcasting from Black Magic Ink Studios from the southwest area of Sacramento, the Greenhaven pocket area. I will be back soon. Please take care of yourself, take care of your health, and take care of your family. God bless. Peace. I'm out.